It's a tipping video this week. I've got some good news to you all. I will be trying. This is the AFLW video. This will try to be out on the Wednesday. It seems to be a habit, as it seems to be the case recently. But that's because there's been Saturday games to start things off, which is really irritating. But having said that, it's been good competition. Apart from this, looks like we're gonna have a foregone conclusion at the end of this season with what's happening. Let's have a look at last week and how I went. Just need 6 out of 9 tips. Had a good week, but things started bad. Started pretty good with the Bulldogs getting the job done over the Tigers. However, it was an 11-point win, so I was only off by 4 points. West Coast, my God. Gold Coast are going to be a surprise packet this year. They won by 35 points, and Jesus, it's not going to be pleasant. Looking then, freaking hell. I looked like an absolute goose. I saw Geelong absolutely steamrolled the Saints, and let's go say, I was not expecting an 85-point smashing then. I nearly got that tip right, that roughie I tipped. Brisbane getting this close to beating North, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done and had all tips right on the Sunday. Sydney beat Essendon, which was a pretty good crowd at the SCG at 16,000. Then Dockers got the job done over Collingwood at Vic Park, which I was very happy got one right. Then tipped Melbourne over the Giants, Blues, and Hawks. Let's have a look at. Just a reminder, I'll be preferring teams as different names this week. It's Indigenous round in the W, so hence why you may. You may see different names on the book. But I'll be preferring them as their club names for this week. So let's have a look at the first game this week. It's in Tasman, the first W Tasmania game. It's North Melbourne versus the Western Bulldogs. Well, the North Melbourne showing everyone why they're premiership favourites. They came this close to beating the Lions, but unfortunately, they couldn't get the job done. And North Melbourne got the job done, so I'm very happy with that. The Bulldogs, wowee, they're 2 on the trot, and they keep on showing us why they are not to be underestimated this year. They got the W last week against a to be honest, pre-ordinary Richmond side, and they got the job done on Gold Coast, which should be a good year for the Bulldogs. But they've got North Melbourne this week. Unluckily, it's at their Tasmania fortress at UTAS, as I think North will win it. Going to go North Melbourne by 9 points. 10 points. Should be a close affair. And the big call is that Jazzy Gardner gets 40 plus disposals. Then we head to the other. It's a bit of a small Saturday on football on the footy front. We've got Kuwana, Adelaide, taking on Wajit Mariwa at Thomas Farm. So it's Indigenous round West Coast of Wajit Mariwa, Adelaide's corner. Well, the Crows are 0-2, and this is about the 0-2 sides. The Crows were quite frankly ordinary against the Blues. It was a good game, and I expect it to be good. Eagles, well, Gold Coast outplayed them badly. It was not exactly the most pleasant. Isn't.
For homeroom, as I say, in year 7, it's just the year 7s in your house room. Then going into year 8, it's the 8s and 9s mixed together, and then the senior school 10, 11, 12 mixed together. On a Wednesday, we do extended homeroom, so.
And then it's, yeah, I think the Eagles are much better than that. Better than losing to crappy sides, but I'm going to tip them here. I seriously think they can get the job over a very ordinary Crow side who's still getting used to the new coach. Eagles win by 10 points. Big call is that Elle Roberts gets 40 plus disposals. She's burnt me twice in 2 weeks, so I'm trying not to trade her out. Then we head to Coffs Harbour for the first game there. It's Sydney Swans taking on Euro Rogue St Kilda. Sydney had a very, very good response to that scandal that I may have mentioned on the channel. You may have seen it. So it's only a small Saturday of football because it's wild card week.
Where's the phys ed class now, do you know? HRP class?
Then I think this ones will get. history suggests the Swans should get the job done, but SR Coffs harboured the conditions there. To be frankly, last year they were crap, but saying Euro Rogue was quite disappointing against the Cats. I absolutely smacked the crap out of them, and I'm gonna tip the Swans here. They're probably gonna go on 3 at this point.
Ashton's very good with the Premiership.
They should. They actually
I
should.
reckon they're a first round exit.
Ha ha ha. They can't. And Vince Simmons were by 10 points. Big Claw was claiming Malloy kicks 4 goals. Then we head to Canberra for the first Canberra game of the year. It's Geo taking on Yata Port Adelaide. Well, I would love to see Fremantle play at Canberra, but I can't. And it happens to be the day before my birthday. So, I'll be in church at this game. So the Giants, well, they did their job. They were quite on against Stevens, I think, because they've played at 2 big ground. They've played 3 big grounds in a row. Two big grounds to start their season. Home, which is really good, Canberra, and also an NG Stadium. Power, well, they are 2-0 and are looking very, very good. I think I'm going to go safe bet here. I'm going to tip Port here. Port by 3 points, and my big call is that Matilda Schultz records 5 or more hitouts. And we head down to Casey Fields. Why the hell is this game being played in Casey? It should be at the Icon Park. It should be better conditions, and it should be at the MCG. Full stop. Because Melbourne are playing home game at the G Saturday on Friday night. This should be a double header. So that AFL are looking quite frankly ridiculous. Narm taking on Brisbane Lions. Well, Narm they've got another win in the banks over the Giants at Casey, and they've got another home game here, and it's against a Brisbane side whose ego has been taking a bit of a hit, losing just to North Melbourne, which can help them in the long run. But Melbourne at Casey last time out, yeah, Brisbane got the job done over the Demons, but that was a Brighton. Nah, I think I'm gonna go Demons here. Melbourne are a pretty good side. I think they can stand up to it. They're gonna win by 5 points. And a big call. Call is Kate Hawkins 2. Then we head to the Gold Coast. So Gold Coast taking on Geelong. Well, Gold Coast got the job done again and a rebound from that very ordinary showing in round 1. The show by the better side they are. Sonny Lappin was dominant, and this Gold Coast side actually I think they can make the finals, the top 8. The Cats, however, they put behind that flogging, and then they recorded another flogging over, and they restored their percentage to a better level than it was prior to the game. Well, I'm going to tip the Cats here. I'm going to safe bet it here. I'm going to tip the Cats here by 3 points, and a big call. It should be a close game, mind you. And a big call is that the Suns will lead at 3/4 time. Then we head to another lot of Saturday games. Collingwood taking on Hawthorn. This should be a double header, but no, whatever. The Bulldogs game, they're in Tassie. Really. Well, the Pies stink. It's official. The Pies actually stink. This year they lost to Fremantle, who Ian Zanga Gofflook, and they made some really, really poor choices with their selection, as in they're not picking a recognised ruckman against Mim Strom. And they're going to be. I think the Pies are going to be shit this year. Yeah, now Hawthorn. Well, they have very, very close loss. Have a very, very, very close loss again. Good win, over Port, and I think they can be that side that can cause a bit of dilemma this year. I think because the way Collingwood are going, Collingwood's crap, to be honest with you. I'm going to tip Hawks by 15 points, and my big call is that the Lucy Wales gets 30 plus hitouts. Then we head to Coburn for what shapes up to be a massive doubleheader of the Sunday evening. It's Wild Yallop taking on Carlton. This should have been played a week ago, and it should have been at Marvel Stadium, and they said that the AFL have screwed up multiple times this year. The Blues responded after the week off and got the dub over the Crows, and putting the Crows down to 0-2. Fremantle, as expected, got the win over the Pies. You may look on the line and thinking, Carlton's 2-0. While Fremantle ups 1-1. Well, I'm going to about Fremantle excellent, all the bits fired, Mimstrom fired, big time. Itten Zanka got her first goals as a docker. Millsy was excellent, got a very good rundown tackle, and we were far superior than the Pies. Is that day. I'm going to tip the upset here. I'm going to tip the Dockers here by 5 points. And big call is that Millsy kicks 3 goals. Then we had to Dreamtime game. This should have been a Friday or Thursday, but because they've got the Legends game on Thursday, won't be scheduling a doubleheader. And there's bloody wildcard this year. This typically is a Friday game, but they've said they've put it at a crap Sunday night slot. It is Essendon v Richmond at TIO Stadium for Dreamtime at the top end. Well, this is going to be an interesting look for TIO because they've just had a test match there, so it's going to be really good to see how the pitch plays up. Well, the Bombers, well, they are 2, and they are surprisingly favourites for some reason.
Are all the girls still at school, or have they left school?
So my oldest is at Linear.
Yes.
And the Tigs, well, they're 1-1. They've got the job done. But I think that Richmond had a chance here because Essendon typically typically play not great footy at the top end. I'd rather see the Tigers have a good win here. And I think Richmond will win the Dream Time at the top end by 5 points. And my big call is that Modern Conti records 30+ disposals. Well, that is my tips for this week, and I hope you enjoy them. I'm just going to go. Next week, you probably expect me to do a review for AFL games. I hope you enjoyed the tipping video. I'll be back again next week for the second of the Indigenous rounds. It's going to be a very good fixture. I hope the teams get done that I want to get done, and I shall see you in my next one.